What is up, everybody? Welcome to the No Huddle, No Filter podcast, episode
Hey,
one.
hey,
I'm Dante Street, and with me is Dax Martinez. Yo, welcome to the first episode where we are going to be talking about
what's going on, my
sports.
boy?
Yo, man, check this out, dude. Episode one, we are here, man. How long have we
Man,
talked about this, dude? So it is awesome to
long
get
overdue.
going. Dude, well long overdue, man. So, yo, you're looking at two dads that love sports. We're going to be talking about everything from sports to life to being a dad. I mean, this thing is going to be jam packed with just so much relatable stuff, especially if you're a dad. So, man, buckle up, hang tight. We're going to have some crazy hot takes for you on the sports
Oh, that's
tip.
right, my man. That's
And we're
right.
also going to be going into some crazy stories about being dads, man. So, yo, man, what's going on, man?
Hey, speaking
How
of that,
is
speaking of being a
how
dad, bro.
is being the
Speaking of
dad
being a
life?
dad, dad life is lifing, man.
I
Um,
bet.
as you know, my boy getting up there,
And he's
17,
he's he's 17, almost a man,
17 year old.
right? Not far away
Yeah.
from that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, with that comes, things like driving. So my boy got his license the other day.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that kind of
and
scary, like for him to like because he's behind the wheel? Like, do you have like
Look,
those
I'll say this, man. I'll say this.
like just anxious moments?
The scary part is the training session. The
Oh,
first couple times to get him behind the wheel.
were you in a
Whew,
parking lot or where'd you guys go?
whew. Oh yeah, you got to start small. Got to start small,
Like
man.
Costco parking lot, 6 a.m., something like
Yeah,
that?
just go around the parking lot. Go from A to B within the parking lot.
Did you?
Once task one is completed, then we can move on to
Well,
bigger and
look,
better
dude,
things.
I know you
So
like to go all out. Did you have cones? Did you have
no,
cones
not
out
quite,
there?
not quite,
Yeah,
not
man.
quite.
So,
I
dude,
give him
we're
credit, man. He's come a long way. He's got it down, and now it's time to get him a car. Now it's time to get him a car, and man, I'm telling you, man, that might be more stressful than teaching your kid how to drive.
what's he eyeballing? What's he eyeballing for a car?
Well, with this new generation, the kids, it's first world problems we got over here. This kid
Don't tell me he
had
wants
a
a
hand-me-down
Tesla.
car. He
Don't
had
tell.
a hand-me-down car.
Don't tell me he wants
Okay?
a Tesla, dude.
Not quite, but he did have a Mustang, which was a little old, '05.
Okay.
But got that license. Like, look, I don't want it.
He
I
didn't
don't
want the
like it.
Mustang?
I don't like it. After this is the whole hand-me-down car build up. This is it
Dude,
for your boy.
that's what
His
kills
mom's
me.
family hooking it up,
No,
and
that's what kills
yeah,
me,
I
dude.
don't want it. So that would but luckily he's got a great mom. His mom flipped it for him, and now we're on to phase two.
So, I mean, that's what kills me, though, right? Like, how fired up were you been in high school just to even have a ride,
Man,
right? Like, you knew one person
bro,
that had that ride. Everybody was squeezing in that
for
that
free,
little
especially for
Honda.
free,
You know what I
for
mean?
free,
Yeah.
man.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you got it good.
some of the buckets I remember me and my boys that we had, man, I didn't even have a car till after high school. So, I definitely do not even know what the experience of getting a
Oh,
car.
neither did I,
But
bro.
I mean,
Neither did
I'm
I. Hey,
I'm with you.
bro,
Like that generation is
if
is
you had
definitely
a
something
car in
different.
high school, you was low key the man,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Like, dude, everybody was trying to ride with you for sure. And I mean, look, I'm on the way opposite end of that, right? Like, I have a toddler right now, and Lord,
Oh yeah, bro, you
what
got
was
some
I
time.
ever thinking of having a toddler in my 40s? But it is, I actually did an Instagram video of this the other day where it's like when you have a toddler, I feel like you're literally a therapist for a psychopath. Like you are
That's one way to
literally
put it, man.
like you
That's one way to put it.
you literally are, man. Like you're trying to convince them not to like do harm to themselves, don't do harm to others.
Well, I mean, you are teaching the world,
Right. And then they
teaching the
throw their
world
food at the
to.
wall. Like there's not much different that's from a psychopath and a psych ward, right? But it's
That's
it's
true.
it's truly awesome though to like see them develop, right? Where you kind of get to see their personality shine and they're learning about themselves. And man, it's it's the funny thing, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is like when that kid just does everything that drives you absolutely crazy for the day, and then they just do that one thing that makes you smile and forget about every little crazy thing they did
Oh,
for the day.
it's all love when
It's
they're young.
absolutely amazing.
It's all love, man.
That's the best part of being a dad for me is like when I can see him just running down the hallway. You know what I mean? When I get off of work and he's so fired up to see me, like it makes me forget about the fact that
Well, it
he's
makes your
gonna.
whole day.
Yeah,
Makes your whole
he's.
day.
It makes me forget all the screaming he did at
Makes
one in
you
the
get up the
morning.
next day and do it all again, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, man. So you got a kid driving. He's getting ready to graduate. Prom,
Yeah, bro.
right? We just did
The problem
prom, I
with
think.
cars, though, man. Problem with cars, bro. It's like, what it, and if you're in the used car market for a first time car for a
Absolutely.
teenager, so at that point, what's safe enough for your kid? You're essentially saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm
You,
gonna provide you with the safety, child, to go out on those roads and
you, you
go
really
about your
almost want to.
business, man. So what's safe enough? You know what I mean?
A Volvo? I don't know, but that's the it's obviously they want a little bit
There is
of
no the answer is there is no answer. It's never
yeah,
safe enough.
because it's what you want. They definitely
You
don't
know?
want.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole nother fear, right? That you take on as a parent of like your kids now on the road. You know what I mean? And when you see crazy accidents, especially out there where you guys are at with that four, you know what I mean? There's always something
Oh
crazy going
yeah.
on out there. So I'm sure that definitely puts a little bit of unease attention in the head. But it's about
Yeah.
trusting them when they get that when they get to that age, and it. I have no doubt in my mind that you and mom have put him in the best way to make the best decisions,
Oh yeah.
and
For sure. For
no
sure.
craziness, no driving. You
For
know,
sure.
on with me, having the toddler, it's like every day I think he's filming for the next Jackass movie. Like he's
Hey man,
standing on
you got a long way to go, buddy.
yeah,
You
he's
got a long
standing
way
on
to
top
go.
of a table, and it's like you're looking at how did he get up there, and then he's got this look in his eye where it's like, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass," and you're just trying to like, please
Uh,
don't jump. You know what I mean? So you got this fear in your head. But anyways, man, look, dude. Hey, we got some sports coming up here. We got NBA playoffs coming, man.
Man, that's the
NBA
saving grace,
playoffs.
right? The saving
NBA playoffs
grace.
are coming, man. What
Sports
do you got?
through all the stress in the world,
Absolutely.
sports can always ease it out,
You know,
or
is it too much?
provide more depending on how your team's doing.
Let me ask you this: is it too much for me to want to put an ESPN ticker in my home that would have
No,
like
not at
all the
all.
scores and the
Not at
betting
all.
lines? Like, I think that I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, so, um, I don't know, when there's a female that lives in the home that will ride, but for now, that might be the formula in Dad's house. So,
Oh
but
yeah,
anyways, man, NBA playoffs are here, man. I know you're a big NBA
man,
dude. What do you
loving it.
got, man? Like, who should we be looking out for going into this playoff run here?
Man, I'm loving some NBA. I'm loving some NBA, especially this season. How exciting has the season been?
Yeah,
We got the Western Conference getting real tight, man, real tight.
I've
Tighter
seen.
than we've seen in years past. You know, um, teams all knotted up. I think these playoffs that we're about to experience, at least out of the Western Conference. Let me paraphrase that. We're gonna see some of the best first round matchups that we've seen in modern NBA playoffs in quite some time.
Are you talking about like
Really, really,
the
really
play-in
looking forward
games?
to this.
Are you talking about the play-in games or?
Oh, the plans, plans are will be fire, but the first round series, the
Yeah.
matchups. I mean, if I could just break it down real quick. I mean, we're looking at potentially this is just the first round. We are potentially looking at a Lakers Warriors round one.
You don't want that. You don't want that smoke. Y'all don't want
Man,
that smoke. Y'all don't want that smoke.
hey,
You don't want an early
hey,
exit.
all I know, Steph Curry ain't ever turned no duel down. He ain't gonna turn down this one.
Nah, man. They're not with the old
So
man. The old
I'm
man and
looking forward
Luca.
to that. We'll see if we get there. But that's just, we got possible Clippers, Nuggets. I mean, we could potentially get in the play-in. The Memphis Grizzlies, strong team for a play-in spot.
Yeah.
Matching up potentially with the Houston Rockets. Now, look, we'll see how this last set of games plays out.
I
But
don't know too.
there's
I
going to be
haven't
some
know
intriguing
much
matchups.
about the Rockets this year. I haven't followed. I mean, I've followed the center. I believe it's Sagan. I believe he's a good prop bet dude.
Sengun.
But Sagoon, excuse me. I've followed him a little bit, but I don't. I mean, when I looked at their roster, I didn't see a lot of high. You know what I mean? Like payroll dudes.
Well, it starts with Jalen Green, who's a
Yeah, I did see that.
homegrown draft pick. The kid's really living up to expectation right now, shooting that rock. They made look, they didn't. They kind of stood pat with their team. They built to the draft. Sengun, Green. Can always appreciate teams that built to the draft.
100%.
Um, a couple additions. Dylan Brooks, everyone's favorite villain.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had to double take that
so
name when I was looking at the roster.
look, if he's not on your team, you can't stand him. But
Of
if he's on your
course.
team, kind of roll with him. Kind of roll
You
with him.
you need that bully out there.
So yeah, I mean, then you got Fred Van Vliet. I know he's been a little banged up, but when he's running that point, they're solid. They're solid. I mean, they've earned the number two seed in the West. That says something. We'll see if their lack of playoff experience overall plays a factor here, because by no means are they a lock in the first round. By no means.
No, I was looking at the matchups, the potential matchups last night. Who do you like? Who are your top five in the West? Right, like who do you, like? And it doesn't
Top
need to be in the
five in the
Chronicle.
West.
Like who's your top five going into the playoffs?
Oh, the West is deep. It's deep.
It is.
So
It is a deep conference for
um,
sure.
I'll mix it up a little bit. I like at number. We'll start number five. Give me the T Wolves.
T Wolf's at
Ant
five.
Man
Okay.
is hooping. Ant Man stays hooping out there. So if he's balling, T Wolves always got a shot. So
I like
they're
that.
hovering around that play in. Maybe shoots up to six. We'll see. We'll see who wins and loses on Sunday. But loving what Ant Man's doing out there. And then number four, we'll go with the Clippers.
Okay. With no
I think the
Kawhi Leonard.
Clippers are playing good ball. They got Kawhi Leonard back in action.
Okay, he's back.
Um, yeah, so and if you're in a playoff situation where they have time off in between games and he's playing, they're gonna be tough beat. They're gonna be tough to beat. So
No.
I like the Clippers. Um, and then number three. Number three. Let's see. I gotta keep. This is not an easy one. Um, you know I'm a I'm a Bay Area guy,
Okay.
and you know I love my Dubs, and right here, folks, I want them to win it all, right? Always.
Yeah, I would say I
But
would.
we're
Why
gonna slot
not?
them at number three. We're gonna slot
Okay.
them at number three. Um, and then pains me to say this
Oh, let it
for
rip.
the
Just
the
let it
number
out.
two spot,
Let it
we'll
out.
give it to the Lakers.
Let
We'll
that
give it to
hate
the
out
Lakers,
your
and you know
heart.
what?
Let that
Yes,
hate
folks,
out
he
your
is a
heart.
Laker fan. He is a Laker fan, but you know what? It is
Did
not.
the Kobe
It is
jersey
not a
give it away?
skill. Look, let me just emphasize this real quick. This is not a skill, matter or factor here. This
Yeah.
is because the Los Angeles Lakers have a generational whistle. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with it, is that in tight games, contested series, especially in the finals, the league has been known to bail out the Lakers.
Are you saying
So,
that LeBron James is equivalent to Patrick Mahomes in the NBA? Is that what I'm hearing?
um,
Is that what I'm hearing?
well, I mean, I guess the league would wish that LeBron James was that great.
Do you feel
Oh,
that
I
the
didn't, I didn't.
refs wear a Laker jersey underneath that stripe?
I
Underneath those
mean,
stripes, is there a Laker jersey? Is that what you're saying? Look, man,
some say that Lakers jersey is the stripes.
you know,
Okay,
it might
okay.
get blinded by all those banners in the Raptors, but
So of course, so just to round it out, the top seed, I do have OKC. Look, they've
okay.
earned it. They've earned it. They've balled out all year, consistent. Ran away with the Western Conference when everyone else is pretty jumbled up. So they've been balling. Even though some say Shea Gilgis is a free throw merchant. Not me. I didn't say that, but that's what some folks say. Um, he is a hooper. So give OKC credit. Now, one team I did not have in there, as you might notice, is the Houston Rockets,
That
who
okay.
are
So
who are the
that
number two seed in the West. I'm not a
it
believer. I my problem with Houston and look H Town. Don't get mad at me. I just don't think they can score enough when it counts most. They got great defense. They got great defense, but I don't think they'll be able to get those critical buckets when they need them.
Yeah.
What say you?
You know, I my my top five's probably a little chalk, if you will, and that's probably I'm a little chalk
Hmm.
hungover from the NCAA March Madness, but
Hmm.
is
Okay. Okay.
I
Let's hear it.
okay? So I have the Warriors at five. Okay, I
Of
think
course you do.
that in order for them to actually get through the playoffs, you need an absolutely healthy Steph Curry. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
Steph
of course.
is
I
the
mean,
nucleus of
I
all of
think
that.
we can say that about every team's best player,
Sure,
but sure, go on.
absolutely. But I mean, look, they're in great rhythm right now. They're doing great things. I think they're gelling. I think that with Jimmy Butler going over there, I think they have found a way to make a home for him. I think he looks maybe the Warriors longer term than possibly just a rental for the year. I
Oh no, he's locked up.
but I think also, look, whenever you got someone like a Steph Curry on your team, you know what I mean, who can just absolutely put up 40 on you tonight and shoot the lights out on you, you're never out of the race. But I
Right.
think he needs to get a little bit more healthier, you know what I mean, to be at full go for a long playoff run, right? My
Well, just
my
to add this before you go on. That's why this last playoff seeding is a factor because top six seeds lock it in, get the week off, get the rest before the playoffs begin.
which I think is going to happen for the Warriors. I think that they get that bye, if you will. Uh, I like the Nuggets at the 4 seed. I don't care a coachless Nugget team. I don't care if it's Sister Teresa out there coaching from the stands. If you got the Joker on your team who averages a triple double on the season, like
Yes.
and which I read today, like that has not been done, and has it been done
Russell
ever?
Westbrook averaged a triple double before.
Like I said, has it been? No, I'm kidding. But like yeah, a younger Russ Westbrook, but
Oh yeah,
Westbrook, excuse me.
that was when he was a baller.
Excuse me, but the Joker again. They're the defending champs, right? No, excuse me, that's Boston that's defending it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So
Your
I
lack
still
of NBA viewership is showing.
look, man. We go into football. I got you hands down, man. But I have I have not been too much on the NBA this
Now,
year.
to be clear, Jokic is great. I just we'll see what a interim coach can do in the playoffs. We'll see.
If he hits another gear, and I think the other guys kind of rise up around him during the playoffs, I think they can make a run. But you're so stacked in the West that it's such a hurdle. Number three, I actually have my Lakers at three, so I think they're right about where
Okay.
their seating
Okay.
is. I have them at a three. I think there's still some more gelling that needs to happen with Luka and LeBron and company.
I agree with that.
And I think once that gets figured out, it's going to be a hurdle for a lot of people, man. Like that's not going to be an easy win.
Yeah, that will be good. Do they have anyone to protect the rim though?
That's the part that they're lacking. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And
okay.
that is not just so you better hope your shooting's on that night. That's all I can tell you. Please. I actually have Houston where they're seated. I actually have them at two, not
Okay.
knowing a tremendous amount about this Houston team, but when I kind of did a little bit of research on them, they are just a team that you're sleeping on. Like I don't think Houston's making a lot of noise. I mean, they're the number 2 seed, yes, so people know who they
Yeah.
are,
Sure. They're
but
under the radar.
they're not on your sports highlights every night, right? Like that's not who you're talking about. You know what I mean? And I think they don't score a lot, like you said, but they might lullaby you all the way down to the finish line and come out with the W.
Look, Aman Thompson, the young wing there, is one of the best defenders in the league already. So, it was his second year. So, I'm not. There's no knock on this team. They got talent. Okay. But
Yeah,
like I said,
absolutely.
I just don't see this team when it's tough to get a bucket in half court games in the playoffs.
Who's that guy?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Now, some will
Like
say Sengun. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if that's the dude I'm trusting to go hit the game winning shot. To be honest with you, I Oklahoma is my number one. I think that
Yeah.
they are an absolute scoring machine. They are beautiful for the overs. I think Vegas has finally caught on to that, but To
Well, they've kind of
they
took
are
their foot off
doing.
the gas the last week or so here.
When I watch them play, I mean, it seems like it is all go with them. You know what I mean? And it is like they are
Yeah,
that recipe
throughout
of
the year.
like not to compare them to a college team because obviously they're a pro team, but like as we just watched March Madness, right? When you look at like an Alabama, how they are just like, hey, we're not worried about defense really at the moment. We're going to outscore you, and I think that's what I'm seeing out of Oklahoma City is, hey, we're not worried about your defense. We are
I
going
don't think
to
that worked out for
score.
them though.
It caught up to them, and it could catch up to Oklahoma as well. I mean, it very well could, because as the saying goes, defense does win
Oklahoma
championships.
has the number one defense in the league. Just to be
Do they
clear.
really?
Yeah,
That I did not know,
statistically,
folks. Statistically,
statistically.
yes. Yeah. Well, if you're putting up 140 and the other team puts up 120, like it gets very,
I mean, the Lakers lit them up
clear.
a couple days ago.
Of course they did. Again, so I got a lot more NBAs to catching up, folks. So just know that. So I will be fully in tune by episode 2. Now, if we're going to talk about, I mean, you're a Warriors fan, right? We know that. I'm a Lakers fan. Who's your top 5 Warriors of all time? Like, who's your Mount Rushmore? Like your
Yeah.
5 dudes that you're taking?
Well, I am a Warrior fan, okay, and you know, we believe, okay. That's a standard among our fan base. We believe always till this day. If you don't know, that's a throwback to the We Believe team. Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, shout out. So yeah, unfortunately, neither of those guys are making my top 5 for the Warriors franchise. Now, when I'm thinking top 5, I'm gonna stick to uh, Bay Area or West Coast. Okay, I'm not gonna dive into the overall history of the Philadelphia Warriors. Okay, shout out Wilt Chamberlain. Um,
Yeah.
but I will go with the more modernized top 5, and we're starting things hot with the one and only Draymond Green.
Draymond's in the top 5. Okay.
Oh yeah, top 5, the
Okay.
number 5. Now look, he's a leader in franchise triple doubles
And
from
technicals.
a forward who plays small ball center as well. So this guy can hoop. I don't want to hear. Look, I know you don't. People don't like him, and
I actually like Draymond. I think you need a dude like Draymond on your team. Like I like the fact that he starts it. You know what I mean? And he'll get it going. Like I like it. It's nerve
well,
wracking if you got to play with that because you're worried about him
well
getting
now look.
technicals.
Some within the fan base will say he's cost the Warriors championships, which okay, fair point.
It's also helped him
Um,
win them.
he's also helped them win them, 4 of them to be exact, 4. So he's in my top 5. He's number 5. And I think he's the best defender in modern NBA. I mean, you're talking about a guy who can guard 1 through 5, who's 6'6" and can play center, can guard Jokic, can guard all Bam Adebayo, all these Sengun, all these young top centers in the league. He can hang with them. Or if
Yeah, Draymond's a
you need
dog.
to get out there on the perimeter and guard De'Aaron Fox for a possession, he can do it.
He's a dog, and he's going to get out there and whoever you put in front of his face,
So
it's
yeah,
let's go. So I like that
respectfully,
about
he's
Draymond.
number 5 for me. Respectfully, number 4. Once again, we're keeping it modernized. So how can I not have Klay Thompson in my top 5?
Oh my goodness, Klay Thompson,
I
maybe, huh?
mean, we're talking about a guy who owns the record for the most threes in a NBA basketball game with 15. Okay, he's the guy, not Steph Curry, not the great Curry, not anyone else. It's Clay.
No, no, no. Shout out to Klay Thompson, man. Beige community. I'm all for it, man.
And just the fact that he got 37 points in a quarter, one game, 37 points in a quarter, all time
I do
record.
recall that. Yeah, I
You
do recall
you
that.
are on the list, buddy.
Okay.
Clay Thompson,
Number
shout
3.
out. Even though he's a Dallas Maverick, still love him.
Uh, Nobody retires their jersey anymore. Maybe Steph will. I think he will.
Now number 3, maybe some may not agree, but if you're talking hoops, you can't talk hoops without KD. Kevin Durant.
Oh no.
And look,
Oh no no
Kev,
no no no.
look, Kevin Durant
I
played. He hold on. I know he only played 3 seasons.
Warrior fans
However,
come for this
in
man.
those 3 seasons, that's 3 NBA Finals appearances, 2 championships, 2 Finals MVPs.
Somebody come
I
get your
got no
man.
issue with KD.
Somebody come get your man. KD, bro. KD. Oh,
The
the
guy.
great. Oh, I got to hear the top two now.
Okay, hey, I don't want to hear no hater about KD will be talked around here. All right,
I'm
respect,
not hating on him. I don't
respect.
know if I put him as the top five warrior of all time, but okay,
Hired
who's the?
assassin. He's a hired assassin,
He
and
was
he did
definitely a
his
hired
job.
assassin.
He
Okay,
did his job.
I got to hear the top
Uh,
two now.
okay, so number two, we'll we'll go back in time and we'll celebrate the great Rick Barry,
Oh Lord, he doesn't have
who
this
hold
man on
on,
his list
who
either.
now look, he is responsible for giving the Bay Area their first NBA championship and could have been their last championship if it wasn't for number one, the great Stephen Curry.
Oh, okay.
Come
First of
on,
all,
Steph, get number five. Get number five, Steph. Let's go.
they are coming for you. So Warrior fans, come
Oh yeah.
get this man. You mean to tell me that Chris Mullen is not on that top five anywhere? Who will shoot your
Oh
lights
no,
out?
Chris Mullin is number one honorable mention.
Chris Webber gets no love.
No, Chris Webber gets no love.
So
Chris Mullin do though. Chris Mullin, shout out,
Chris Mullen,
honorable mention.
who legend has it, has shot 100 threes in a row.
Some would say the coldest white boy to play in the NBA,
Well, Jason Williams
other
may
than
have to
Larry
throw
Bird.
his. Jason Williams, Larry Bird may have to throw their hat in the ring. So I am absolutely. I'm not even a Warrior fan. I have love for the Warriors as I'm from the Bay Area, but I'm a Laker fan. I'm a
Yeah,
little
no, I'd love to hear
floored.
your top five. See, but here's the problem
Absolutely.
with the Lakers, who are
There's a
always
lot of
buying these
history.
play. They're buying players. They're trading for this. They're ripping teams
Absolutely.
off. So they have like a million players that have played for them.
Bring it. Keep bringing it. We
Go
want
ahead.
more of
The
it.
floor is yours.
I mean, there's just so much history here with the Lakers. It's how do you form your top five without leaving somebody great
Okay.
off of it?
Okay.
I mean, look, my number five
Yeah.
is. I mean, how do you not have? And this is really in no order, but I mean, how do you? I mean, the Diesel is on there. The Diesel is on there.
Number five.
The Diesel
Shaq
is
only
on
made
there.
five.
Shaq is at number five.
Wow. Someone say the most dominant big man ever and only made five. Okay.
And I'm okay with saying that he is one of the
Okay.
most dominant. So look, it's a toss up. You know what I mean? But Magic's at four. Okay,
Oh wow.
so Magic is at four. I have Kareem at three. Okay, and I
Okay.
have Jerry
How
West.
many games you watch him play?
Who, Kareem?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I seen that show that had on HBO. That was enough for me.
That was a good show. That was a good show.
It's very sad it got canceled. Very
No.
sad.
Season one was fire.
Yeah. But I mean, really, for me, I think you can interchange these guys. And I mean, to 1 to 5 or whatever. I mean, Kobe and Jerry West round out my top five. That's my Mount
Okay.
Rushmore, if you will, of
So
Lakers.
who's number one? Is it Kobe or is it Jerry West?
Look, I'm a Kobe fan like that. Like I cried when he died. Like that hit me hard.
Oh, yeah, I think the world.
And to me, Kobe is the greatest Laker of all time. I just the work ethic, I mean, just everything that he brought to the Lakers.
Hey
You know what I
man,
mean, and
stand on it.
at a young kid. I mean, to do what he did for not just the city but also for that franchise, and again his work ethic. I mean, when you hear guys talk about his work ethic,
He's a
it
champ,
is
bro.
there is nothing like the
He's
Mamba mentality. There's not.
he's the definition of a champ for sure.
Yeah, and really, what disappoints me the most about Kobe's passing is the different Kobe that we were about to see, the business Kobe, right? The ventures that he was going into, the more of the dad aspect of things, to be able to see him,
Yeah,
see his daughter, who Gianna probably would have, she could have been holding a ring at UConn, right? She could have
yeah.
been holding a ring this year. So, I mean, to see like where he was getting ready to go with that, and you know, to to be able to see his babies grow and to be able to see them in a passionate of a game that he loves, that's the heartbreaking part to me. You know what I mean?
For
Is
sure, man. Yeah, we all
to
know it's a terrible tragedy.
But
For
at
sure.
the end of the day, like to me, yes, Kobe was the greatest Laker, and it's not just because he passed away. I mean, that's but just everything he did, and what what pains me the most sometimes is when people talk about the greatest, right? And I don't even have LeBron in my top five. You know what I mean? Which he is very well should and could be in that top five. I just have different feelings about LeBron. He's a good dude. I've never met him, but the way that he got some of his championships, I can't knock it. But to me, they were bought championships. You know what I mean? And I mean, hey,
Hey
where did
man,
it?
that's
It's
that's my knock on him, bro. I don't know why he
so
gets a free. I don't know why LeBron gets a free pass because he decided, oh, I need to go team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in order to win.
well.
Like he gets a
I
free
mean,
pass for that, and
you
everyone's like,
you.
oh, he's so great.
But
Like,
look what
look, if
happened
he stayed
also
in,
in Boston,
but
right?
hold on, if he stayed in Cleveland, if he from his first tenure there, if he stays, does he win a championship? Is everyone crowning him king if he never wins a title? So look, I think he gets a pass. I think we know why, but um, yeah,
I,
he's
I
not
don't.
he's not my
I,
goat. I'll tell you that much.
I don't take any. I think he's one of the greatest that has played the game.
He's a
To
great
see,
player for
to
sure,
see what
for sure,
to see what LeBron is doing at his age right now is
for sure.
still
Look, I'm not saying he's not great. Of
remarkable.
course he is.
But yeah, that's my top
Someone
five,
said
man.
PEDs, but I'm just
Oh, hey, he might be using Tom Brady's trainer. You know what I mean? So,
I don't
I
know.
I don't know, but look, I can tell you right now, in my 40s, I couldn't run up and down the court like that at all. You know what I
No,
mean? Like, I'm sitting at the edge of the bed, letting the body warm up like a Cadillac in the morning. So
he's a great
that's
athlete.
definitely. But yeah, it's just not my top five. I'm sure, and a lot of others, and the majority out there, but just not mine personally. And but yeah, that's where I stand on that, man. And dude, I'm excited, man. There's going to be some great NBA ball, but you know what else we got coming?
Who's that?
What I get excited for, and is it safe to say are NFL fans a little bit of a cult? Yeah, you could say that. I mean, how do we get fired up for the
Draft
NFL
season, baby.
draft? How do we get fired up
Draft
to go
season.
watch a man stand on stage and just introduce athletes that we watched play all year, but let alone
I'll
the
tell you what,
arenas packed
it ain't
out?
like it ain't like it used to be. Um, I remember days when I was a youngster, but me and a buddy of mine, we'd stay up all night out of excitement to wake up and watch the draft. I mean, it was just so
Yeah,
exciting. Now look,
or
it's been
heartbreaking.
glamorized. It's been glamorized a lot now. They break it down to one round on day one, when before it was,
First three rounds, I think, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, it was, yeah, at least the first three on day one.
Yeah.
Um, and even
And wasn't
before
it
that,
always on like a
it was the whole
Saturday?
draft in one day. So
Wasn't it always on a Saturday too? Like it was Saturday and
yeah,
Sunday,
yeah.
right? So because
But
the draft
still,
was normally 2 days, but yeah,
but still, love draft season, man.
yeah, yeah. It's really awesome. You try to predict where people are going to go, and then there's the heartbreak, right? Usually it's the Jets fans that are heartbroken, uh, but just watching some of the old draft
Well, bro,
videos,
man.
man. Like if you got to see some of these old draft videos, like I remember the year that they drafted Kyle Brady over Warren Sapp, and just to watch like Jets fans in the audience like absolutely lose their mind. It's absolutely hysterical. I love it. So with
That
like any
that's
draft
what I mean. Like
news,
that's what I mean. Like, those were the classic draft moments. We get less and less of those. You know.
yeah, because it's all glamorified, like you said, and
Yeah.
it's all a show now. There's a green room. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Exactly.
So any
Speaking
draft
of green rooms,
news that
speaking of green rooms, how about the fact that
what type of
Jalen
green room?
Milroe was invited to the green room day one,
They think he
with
can go in the round.
I think it's only about 15, 13 players that get invited or they are there.
They think he can
Um,
go first round.
is that what they're saying?
I,
I
I
mean,
was I was
by,
looking at it today.
by doing this invite, is that saying he's a first round pick?
So I was watching a few people today. Todd McShay, one of the great voices of the
Yeah.
NFL draft. You know what I mean? Of course, you can't forget the goat and the guru himself, Milk Hyper, which I think that they should start making Milk Hyper wigs. I personally would love one, but he
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about that. Don't be surprised if you see someone like maybe the Steelers take a Jalen Milroe in the first, depending on how the quarterback swing goes.
Yeah.
That
I
it
mean,
He was saying, don't be surprised if you see them take him, which that could make sense. You know what I mean? But they want, where did I mean Big Ben, right
well,
when he
here's the
came
thing.
out.
Do the Steelers, do they like, um, you know, your boy here, or is there talk that instead of Milrow, they like Jackson Dart?
It, yeah, I would be surprised to see him go either. I think Dart's got a great stock, and I think there's a lot of
Is he
buzz
worth the
around
first round
Jackson
pick
Dart.
though? Is he worth the first round pick?
Well,
I mean, I watched some Ole Miss games last year. He wasn't that great.
here's the thing with that, right? Is it's if it's your dude, or as what we've seen. I mean, there's no way on God's green earth you could ever compare a fantasy football draft to this, but in certain situations, right? What do we see sometimes, in drafts, right? Even for fantasy football, when quarterbacks start flying off the handle, people start hitting the panic button quick, right? I
Yeah.
don't think it's that far fetched in the NFL. When you start seeing quarterbacks going and flying off the handle, and they're getting drafted, it's like, well, I better go get one, or I'm going to be stuck with no one. And so, I would rather get somebody on the team, and if I have to let him develop, so be it. So
Yeah, there's always a shortage of NFL quarterbacks.
well, let me take a look here because I was looking at. So we were looking at in regards to like whose stock was rising, and there's, you know,
You know, I got some guys who are rising up from what I'm hearing.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I think that there's
Obviously, the
some
quarterback.
edge rushers that are rising up to the occasion as well that
Yeah,
I've been reading
I mean,
about.
look, the quarterbacks always move up because of the position, whether it's Dart or Milroy. Um, the young tackle Membo, he's really flied up the boards. I think he's overtaken.
I've been hearing
I
some
think he's
buzz about
overtaken
him.
Campbell as the number one tackle in the prospect, right?
Well, isn't Will Campbell more of a? Is he closer to a guard in the NFL?
Well, I mean, there's some talk of Membo as well, but he performed well at the combine, so that's why he's flying up boards. Um, he's saying he's a tackle. We'll see. Um,
I think if you're drafting a tackle in the first round, then that's your tackle. Like if you're drafting a dude where you're like, hey, this is we're going to start him at the right tackle, but I want him to be
yeah,
the left tackle, and that's going to be my left tackle for the next 10 years, right? That's what
I
I
mean, you
think when
hope
you're
so. If
drafting
you're
in the
taking
first round.
a lineman in the first, for sure. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's a bust. Being there for like 10 years.
very true. Um, there's going to be some interesting
Also, you know who
things.
else is moving the boards? The cornerback, Jediah Barron from Texas. That kid's
Yeah.
flying up boards as well.
What
And
about there's that kid. I mean, I think there's that edge rusher that's coming out of Texas A&M, which there is some chatter. I got to get his name, but
um,
but he has been the talk of possibly even going to like maybe
talking
even
about
the
Shamar
Niners.
Stewart, right?
Yes,
Are you?
I am pulling up his name right now. Yeah, you're 100% right. So you're talking about Shamar Stewart,
Yeah.
the, which I was actually watching a little tape on him. I mean, his get off is nasty. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I mean he's
he's
a
a
senior, right?
disruptor. Yeah,
I think yeah he had a strong year at Texas A&M. Texas A&M had a good D line, bro.
they
I think
usually do.
they usually put some players in the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes early, top 12 maybe.
I could see that. I mean, I could even see him. I could even see the Niners possibly drafting him.
Niners like to draft D line. You know that.
Yeah, I mean,
Either draft D line or they take a bust at receiver.
that's kind of hard to say, but
Shots fired.
so I mean, let's look at a division like let's say the NFC
Hold on a second.
East.
Let me just also talk
You
about a
got a
couple
couple
guys that
more?
I like in the draft. I like this young receiver out of Washington State, Kyle Williams.
Yeah,
I think he's moving up the board. I think he should be moving up boards. He's got decent size, good speed, great run up to the catch ability. Like him, I think he goes to the right system. He could really flourish, whether it's slot or outside. And who else do I like?
Yeah, I watched a lot of Kyle Williams, mainly because of a kid that that we coached.
Washington State.
Yeah, so Wayshawn Parker, who was a kid that we coached at Elk Grove
Oh yeah,
for a year, and yeah, so got to watch a lot of Kyle Williams because mainly we're watching Wayshawners, what we call him Bobo. That's another running back that'll be coming in the next year or two that you're gonna have to keep an eye on. But
yeah, I like him, dude. I mean, I've seen seen him play. I like what I see.
well, let me ask you this because we talked about this the other night. So Cameron Scotto is a. I think he's just a
That's
great
your
football
guy.
player. Well, look, here's the deal. I think he's just a good football player. You know what I mean? And he's
Sure.
not a dude that's going to blow you off the
Look,
the whole
you put on
measurements.
ASU. You watch him run that rock. I mean, he's making plays, man. He's making plays. He's trucking fools. He's yards after contact. I mean, come on. He can
But
catch the ball.
he's been running that way since high school. Like I've seen that kid when he was at, I believe Rio Linda, right? So when we would go out and see them in 7-on-7s or seeing him throughout the season, like he's not doing much different than what he did in high school. And I mean, he was bouncing off
Yeah.
dudes and running through people, and he just keeps the legs keep moving for him. I don't think it's going to be that far off when he gets to the NFL. I think
But
whoever
you
gets
know my
him.
thing though. You know my thing.
Well, you think he's another Peyton Hillis?
No, I'm just like I would have liked to seen the 40. That's all. That's all I'm
I
saying.
think he ran his 40 at the pro day.
What do you got? What do you got for it?
Oh, it was not fast. It was like a 4.6 or four
I don't
seven
think he
something.
ran.
I mean, he's not blowing you off the. You know what I mean? Like he's not a
No,
track star.
I'm not saying he's trying to. Nor am I saying he's trying to be that player. Okay, he's not a burner, obviously.
But
But
but if I was his agent, I tell him I probably wouldn't have ran it either because I think that it probably would have hurt his stock.
yeah,
Like I
if it was bad time, for sure.
yeah, I don't think he's getting over at 4.6 on a good day.
I'm not
That
saying
would
he
be.
can't play. I'm just saying that it's going to hurt him in the
But
draft. I just have a
he's
feeling.
he's look from what we would say as a coach like that he's a dude. You know what I mean? And
For
that's what it
sure.
is to me. So when you get him on
Now,
the
and
squad,
I will say another knock is this. This is a very deep running back draft where you can find starters come out of the fifth round, fourth
there's a lot
round.
of running back by committee these days too.
Oh yeah, look, there's going to be some players come out of this draft that are going to be some of the next good running backs in the league. So that's another knock. I mean, like, where does he
My,
fit in with all these other guys who did
so
run the 40 time, who got
here's my
good
knock on
tape?
Scatabo. Here's my knock on him is that he is. I don't think he's going to break away from you in the NFL. Like he's not going to all of a sudden just he's gone. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah,
Jamar Gibbs or something crazy like that. But
yeah. I
I
don't
can tell
think
you
people
what,
think that's his playing style.
from the 20 to the goal line, that's the dude I want in there.
That's fair. That's fair. Look,
From the when it,
I would love to see a team give him a shot here. I don't know if that's middle rounds or what.
I,
Um,
he'll get a shot. And I think the later he gets drafted, the better and the harder he's going to work. I think that's the mindset of Cameron. Is that you draft me in the fourth round? Okay, I felt I should have went day one. Let me show you what I'm about. That's what I think about Cameron. So,
okay.
look, we got a couple of weeks before it gets going. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of changes. I mean, for instance, right? Look at today, just even in just news alone, right? Like David Carr possibly
Yeah.
may need surgery.
But look, me personally, I've been thinking Saints have been trying to fool everyone. They're not trying to draft one of these quarterbacks. I think they're 100% in on one of these quarterbacks in the first round. Um,
We'll see.
whether it's trying to get Dart. I mean, I'm sure they've seen him up close.
Spencer
Or
Rattler's
maybe
not didn't he's not going to do nothing in season
uh,
two.
I don't know if they're saying that's the guy. I don't know. I don't know if they're committing to that.
Well, look here's
I can see the Saints in on one of these quarterbacks in the
so
first
here's
round.
what
So
we were looking at
it'll
is
be interesting.
if we look at like let's take the NFC East and look at where are some possible draft needs for some of these teams in the NFC East.
The
Um,
East. Okay,
I
so we're talking. Hold on, we're talking the Giants. We're talking Commanders. We're talking Cowboys. We're talking Super Bowl champ Eagles.
the these Super Bowl champ Eagles.
Let's start. Let's start with the Giants.
Okay, so I think there's a quarterback that's needed,
So I,
or you're
I, I hold on. I got some notes here on the Giants. Top needs: QB, O line, D line. What do you think?
I don't know so
What do you
much
think?
D line. I think they're okay at the D line. I think they probably could use more of a solid
Wait.
linebacker.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I
will they
think
play? They play a 3-4
no, I'm pretty sure
or a
they're
little bit mix. Look, I know
they're
they got Dexter Jackson in the middle.
well. And what's the kid that got his last name? The
Thibodeau.
kid that yeah that came out of Oregon. So I mean he's still solid, but I don't think that they need to run directly to the D line. I think you can wait on that. I think there's plenty of D linemen.
I don't know.
I
I mean, let's. I mean, you're telling me. Hold on a second. You're telling me there's a if let's say the draft goes Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter sitting right there. You're gonna pass on him?
No, he's the best player available. Why would you
Well,
take the best available?
well. Okay, so then maybe the Giants may be interested in Abdul Carter.
Right. Well, absolutely. If he falls to you, I mean, you'd be an idiot not to take him. Like that's that changes your defense. I which very well
Okay.
could happen. Uh, I also think that there might be something crazy that happens where they end up trading out of that to get a little bit more.
Me
Now,
personally, I'll go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
well, I mean, Cam Ward is gone, right? So he's like
I think it's pretty
Tennessee.
much done deal to
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Tennessee didn't even interview or even give Shador a workout. They were
No.
like, "Hey, we're good. You know what I mean? Thank
Yeah.
you, respectfully, but we don't need to see anything else. We know what we want, right?" So Cam Ward is pretty much a Titan, and I at that point like, can you trade back and get a little bit more?
From three though, I mean,
So here's a crazy thing I heard
I'm not saying they
today.
wouldn't have takers. I'm just saying like you'd want to pass on. Okay, say you don't want to take another defender, you're gonna pass on Shador Sanders then too.
Okay, are you ready for this? How crazy is this? So, what if Cleveland pulls a Houston and comes back in to draft Shador Sanders?
I mean, that could happen. I mean, anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You're going to get your generational talent. You can give up your first next year if you need to, right? You don't. You can give up your first next year and maybe throw another three in there or another two threes to get them, right? Because
Yeah,
if you're like, hey, that's my dude, and I'm going to go grab. I already got Hunter, right? I already got part of the Dion Prime, you
yeah,
know,
man. I'm
love
sure
there.
people in Cleveland would love that. I just don't know if that's a reality, though.
Well, I mean, it's again, if I'm the Giants, I might listen.
I don't think they're in business of trading. I think they're in a pick. I think that okay, you don't want to take Sanders, well then you gotta take Carter. He's too good of a prospect to pass up. Especially you're in the same division as Micah Parsons. Okay, you see him
Well,
2 times a year. Now look, does Abdul Carter want to be the next Micah Parsons? Of course he does. So if you're telling me if you're the Giants, you get a shot at that. I mean, I don't know. I think that'd be that'd be the way to go.
well, that's true, but you're also looking at a coach and a GM that are going to be pretty much fighting for their job. You know what I mean? So, if that's the case, I would try to get and load up as much as I possibly could. So, if I'm the Giants, like, can I go to you and say, yeah, I want. I mean, really, I could say whatever I want. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to go after your quarterback right now, great. I want your one, I want your two threes, and while we're at it, you know, throw in Jerry Judy. I mean, whatever, right? Like they
Look
can literally.
again. I'm not saying they wouldn't have takers. I just don't see them trading down.
Well, you
But
will see.
but
The
enough of the Giants. Let's talk Commanders.
we
Let's talk
obviously
this
know
young
they
Commander team who made a run all the way to the NFC Championship game.
we obviously know they don't need a quarterback.
No, in fact, I don't know. Maybe the Raiders can trade for him. I don't know. Do you think they'll trade for Jaden Daniels?
The Raiders to trade. You think they would
Yeah.
trade away Jaden Daniels?
Can they still get him?
I mean,
It's just
I don't.
people.
I, I mean,
Um,
I think they need another wide receiver. I think that the target would be a good wide receiver late.
Commanders, look, I mean, once you've identified, obviously this is their guy, Jaden Daniels, fantastic, all-world rookie. Once he's the guy, so let's get him some weapons. Now, me personally, um, I'm not mad at receiver. I think obviously they could use a big time running back, a guy that can make some plays out in space. Um, and if you're looking defense, they don't got much on the defensive line. They don't got much on the as far as pass rusher. I think they lost their top pass rusher. So, I could see them going a variety of ways with that last or that pick towards the end of the first. A Matthew Golden receiver has been flying up draft boards. Ran the fastest 40 at
I
the,
forgot his name, but I got the dude.
well, he ran the fastest 40, 4.2. But again, I think they could use some help on defense. And I think there's running
Yeah,
backs they can get later in the draft. So I would say Donovan Izuraku, pass rusher out of Boston College. A little undersized, but got really good speed, good length. Could provide some pop for the pass rush for that Commander D. What do you got?
I look. I think they can get a wide receiver, possibly even like a guy like you spoke of too, like a Kyle Williams. I think they can go after him. I think
Yeah,
here's who I do like them to get though, because what's one thing you got to stop right now? You got to stop that frickin' tush push. So why not go after Desmond Washington, the big man out of Florida, the big 400 pounder? You know what I mean? Put that dude right in the middle when it comes time to that tush push.
I thought they were abandoning the tush push.
I know that there was talks about it. Let me see here. I don't. I don't see it banned yet. So I know that it was discussed. I I'm kind of on edge about
You're
that
going no
personally.
line, huh?
No, dude, you know who I'm talking about? The Desmond, the dude, the big D tackle. Have you seen this dude, Desmond
Oh,
Washington?
you're going D line. Okay.
Yeah, have you seen this man? He
Who do you
is
got?
massive. Desmond Washington, not in the first round, but down the
I
line
thought we were
in
talking
later
first
rounds.
round here.
No, we're just talking about draft needs.
Well, I was talking first round pick.
Well, yeah, I mean, who
They're
they can
picking
get in the
towards the end of
first
the
round.
first, so I mean, look, the
They
value
can.
between the first and second is not that much difference,
When I
but
see a team that's picking towards the end of the first, like to me, I think that's they use that as possibly trading out of the first. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can go, you can trade
Like
out. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
when
so I'm
you look
saying
at
the value from the end of the first to the top of the second is not that much difference.
no, and when you're looking at teams that want to probably get back in the first, like a Cleveland, perhaps,
Let's say there's a Jackson Dart sitting there into the first, Milrose sitting there into the first.
then I would see. It depends on what team went
Somebody
where,
jump
but
in there, you know?
yeah, I mean, I could see even the Giants jumping back in for a Milrow. You know what I mean? If they
If they
don't
go
draft a
Abdul
quarterback,
Carter, right? If
yeah,
they go Abdul
why
Carter,
not? Why not?
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
so I think that's very possible. I mean, Dallas. What do we do with Dallas? Oh, there's just this
The
Dallas.
Cowboys.
Everybody's America's team.
I guess we'll give them
America's
a second here.
America's
Uh,
X team.
well, look, for me, it's easy for the Cowboys because I think they need. I think they can use some receiver help,
Yeah,
uh, running back help, D line help, deep running back class as we've said. I think we didn't talk about people who are dropping in the draft. If we did, I would have mentioned Tetero McMillan, the receiver out of Arizona, who's there's some talk he could drop a few picks here. He was a consensus top 10 pick not too long ago. So look, it's some older comments he made as a younger player, where he said on I think on an interview or something that he didn't watch film, which to an NFL GM you hear, your potential draft pick say that, you know, you don't like that. So
I know that would change in the NFL.
Oh, well, look, I'm not saying that he has not changed throughout his college career, but if he is indeed dropping, if he lasts, I think that 12th pick where the Cowboys are picking, give me McMillan to the Cowboys all day. I think you line him up with CeeDee Lamb across the way. You got a dynamic passing game right there. Obviously, Dak stay healthy. But Jerry Jones loves his receivers, so give me
Yeah,
T Mac.
I could see them getting him. Um, would you possibly see the Cowboys trade away Dak?
Um, nah, I mean, you're saying draft time or this year, before the season or mid-season?
I think around draft time.
I don't think so because then you're kind of committing yourself to Joe Milton, and for the Cowboys, if you're CeeDee Lamb, I don't think you're too excited about that. So, um, I would not make that move right now. Now maybe you let him you give Dak another year, he gets hurt again, Milton comes in and develops. Yeah, then it's time to move on. But right now, I think you still need that safety blanket that Dak provides.
Yeah, and I think Jerry loves Dak. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think that's. I mean, he already gave him a
Pay him all
bag.
that money, so
Yeah, he gave him a bag, so I don't think he's going anywhere there. I would like to see them look a little bit more on. I think Micah Parsons needs some help. I think they need to look at some D line. Somewhere in that draft, that's got to be addressed. And I think you got to get another dude. If you get another dude to line up outside of CeeDee Lamb,
yeah, it's not.
on top
Look,
of that
I don't know
the
if it's a
tight end
great.
there.
I don't know if it's a great pass rushing draft though. Is it?
Oh, the edge rushers are deep.
There's a few.
So, but that's the thing with NFL draft. You know what I mean? Like you can see a dude that's supposed to be a day one dude, and next thing you know, like there's a guy that was like a free agent. You know what I mean? And comes in and just wrecks shop, and that happens year in and year out, where you have a guy that just jumps on the squad, fights, has that dog in him, and then we're going to
Yeah, of
see it again
course.
this
There's
year.
always there's always guys that
So
emerge. You can't. But let's talk about the Super Bowl champs here, man. Philadelphia Eagles. I
what do
mean,
they
look.
need?
First of all, we're talking about a good team here. I think they got a good roster. So, in my opinion, I think they're looking for depth. Um, Maybe some help in the secondary.
Well, C.J.
Um,
Gardner just left too, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think you gotta
Yeah,
address
so
that.
I think you could look secondary, pass rusher. You can never have enough pass rushers, although into the first round, what's really there. Um, I kind of think you're looking for a safety.
Yeah, I think you got to find a dude that's gonna kind of fulfill
I think that they have there are
C.J.
two
Gardner
potential
Johnson.
first round prospects. I think was it Max Starks, one of them? Starks, the safety.
And Dijon, he's a what? Cooper Dijon, he plays. Yeah, he's a corner, right? That's what they've been talking about.
Yeah, I
He's
think
a
he's more of a hybrid. He's more of a
yeah.
hybrid.
So,
Um,
but I
but
still think you got to add some depth there, and I think they're always going to add depth in the
I
D
think
line.
Nick Marwari, yeah, butchered his name there. Um, is a safety who been moving up boards from what I'm hearing, so could be an option for them. Um, or I think they would go, depth on the D line. Um,
I don't think what they don't
Maybe
need right
If
is
James
really anything
Pierce
on
is
that
there,
offense.
maybe if there's like a James Pierce available at the end of the first, um, that guy's the other guy who had a big James Pierce Jr. big combine, put up some big numbers. There's conflicting, you know, um, views on him. Some say bust potential. Some say there's a lot more you can bring out. So, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking secondary help or some D line help for the Eagles.
I'd agree. I think that they'll probably just load up more and get more depth. I it's the Eagles. There's not much. You definitely don't need to address really much on the offense. Maybe a little bit of depth. I would say maybe another guy at the slot. You know what I mean? To try to find somebody in the slot. That's about it really for me on offense. then eventually you start trying to draft guys that are going to replace the Lane Johnsons and stuff like that because they're a little long in the tooth. So I think you got to try to find a little bit of depth there.
Yeah, I'm with Matt.
But
They went a receiver into the first. One of those young Kyle Williams types, Goldens. Little speedster, can make some plays out of like you're saying, third receiver. That'd be nice.
so there's a little speculation in that I've came across today that
What's that?
would because we were talking about Dak, we talked about the Steelers briefly, but trading Dak to the Steelers for a TJ Watt.
I think the Steelers would hang up the phone and laugh. Like first they would
Why would
laugh in
you?
their face, and then they'd hang up the phone because like, what the hell is that?
Why would you? TJ Watt's he's getting long in the tooth as well. He's not
So
no
is
spring
Dak
chicken.
Prescott. So is Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but you just
Look,
your offense is where are you hurting at the most? Quarterback. You
I
don't
don't
really
know.
have quarterback.
Steelers are defense always from the beginning of time. They're gonna
And what do they
always they're
and
gonna
what do they
always
draft
side
well?
with defense. No, you don't
They
trade
draft
TJ Watt.
defense well. They know how to find it. So, I again, just a rumor came across today. The other thing again with David Carr and his shoulder injury that shakes up their draft a little bit
Derek
down in
Carr.
New Orleans. A little bit of bitterness there, but with his injury and not much
Yeah,
behind
Derek
him,
Carr. I mean, look, like I said, I think they're saying it's season long. I think they're going quarterback. I think they're gonna get desperate and they're gonna take one.
yeah, I could see that. I don't know if it's day one though. I think I don't know. There's so many needs
I
there.
don't
I
know.
think
I don't know.
so. But that's that's yeah. So I mean, the draft's always going to be it's always going to be full of surprises.
Now let me ask you this, my man. What's the greatest NFL draft of all time?
The
I'm not
greatest
talking about individual team. I'm just talking
the
about like
greatest
overall
drafts.
draft. Overall
Oh,
draft.
I am there with that. So I personally I was looking at this today as I knew this was going to be something that we talked
Oh
about.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that I look the 1983 draft class was insane.
Oh wow. So you're going with the traditional '83 draft.
How could you not? Look who has in that draft. You have
Look,
Dan Marino,
look,
John
man. I would
Elway,
agree.
Jim Kelly, Eric
I would
Dickerson
100.
was in that
I would
draft.
agree. I mean, just on
You
the
had
quarterbacks
three Hall
alone
of
in the
Fame
first round.
quarterbacks alone in that draft. How do
In
you
the
not?
first
I
round.
mean,
I know. I get it.
seven Hall of Famers overall. Like, arguably one of the best drafts there was.
I
I
think it
mean,
was 8 Hall of Famers overall, but we're just
40 real Pro Bowl selections, not flag football selections. And then, I mean, if I'm going to look at another draft,
I think there was like one in '88 or '89 that was a good one, which had like
uh,
Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders. Who else was in that one?
a lot of
I'm missing
Sanders.
out that man. Could have been.
I look the 2011 draft definitely needs that definitely has to get looked at. I mean, you have the older Watt brother JJ in there. You have Von Miller, Cam Newton, who was 2015 MVP, also went to the Super Bowl. Richard Sherman, Julio Jones, Patrick Peterson, who just retired by the way, and really good dude. Have seen him at the Celebrity Golf Tournament quite some time. You also have Tyron Smith, one of the great NFL linemen in the league. You also have one of the best tight ends, if not arguably the best tight end in Travis Kelce in that draft as well. So
Not mad at it.
2011, definitely, I if I'm going to look even more up to date right now, I mean, then I'm going to go.
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
that
it's
draft
hard to say
class
right now
is
because you don't know who's going to be like, who's going to finish their
dude.
career in the Hall of Fame. Really, yeah. I mean, some are locks, but
Well, look, dude, look, the 2020 draft class is insane, right? What do you have in that class? Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts.
I don't know. You lost me at Justin Herbert.
Excuse you?
Yeah,
Anyways,
the glorified Derek Carr.
Antoine
Sorry,
Winfield
Charger
Jr.,
fans.
Jonathan
That's
Taylor,
what Justin Herbert is.
and look, well, what class are you putting out there?
No, I would say, look, I would say '83. I mean, look, you have all those great quarterbacks in the first, Hall of Famers, Eric Dickerson. Come on, '83 is a great one.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to say the deeper ones, right? The 80s, etc., the 90s,
Yeah,
because
but
we've
like I said,
seen
we've seen it all
the
play out.
body of work, right? So we
Yeah,
know what the finish line looked like. So of course, I agree. Like from a today standpoint, yeah, 2020 is that's a pretty strong draft class so far. So
yeah,
we'll
for
see
sure,
how it folds. You know what I mean, and
for
how
sure.
everything's
It'll
going to
be
get
interesting to look back
played out.
another 20 years from now.
I'll give it 5. But if I mean, again, man, like that, those draft classes, we'll see who's coming up. I mean, even 2018, right? You had Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Quentin Nelson, who arguably is one of the best linemen in the league right now. And so there's a lot to unfold with the younger class for sure. I 100%
Yeah,
agree. That is yet to be seen, so we'll see what happens there. Let me ask you a question, because I know I don't think
so
a lot of people are these days a huge fan of the Pro Bowl, right? So I'm going to give you the
well,
Harry
well,
Potter
we're really
wand.
going to talk about the Pro Bowl.
I'm going to give you the Harry Potter wand. What would you
All right,
change about the Pro Bowl?
just
Or
get
just
rid
get
of
rid
it.
of it?
Just get rid of it.
You'd
No,
get rid of it?
honestly, look, if you have to have it, just play the game. Just play the game, because these little activities they're doing and stuff, I don't care about it, man. I
It
don't
looks
care
like,
about it.
yeah,
I
it
don't think
looks
I've
like
ever watched
recess.
1 second of it. I don't think many people have.
No.
No offense, but just look. I know no one's gonna take the game serious, but let's score some touchdowns, have some fun,
But
or
it
wearing
used
our
to be it
uniforms.
used to be fun though, right? Like when you'd go out there and see Larry Allen go hit
But
225
then they
50
would do
damn
like some
times.
get like the gunner from the punt team who made the Pro Bowl on offense and throw a touchdown to him, stuff like that. So
Or Sean
who
Taylor
else?
knocking your punter out. Either way, or your kicker.
Or that, or
That
that.
was, that's
Shout
we
out
need
Marshawn
that.
Lynch.
Yeah, so we need that type of action back there. There's got to be something different for the Pro Bowl. Like you got to do something different
Yeah.
because it is
I don't know. You know
absolutely
what? I think it's All Star
horrendous.
games in general. Just do the
Well,
event, get it over with, and let's move on.
why did it get that way? Is it because the players don't want to? They're like, hey, my body's already gone through enough. I'm not suiting up for another
No,
game.
I think they're like everyone wants to have the big ratings for their event, and when people just don't have interest in the game that the players themselves aren't taking serious, it ain't just the NFL. Like people lost interest in the NBA All Star game because they were joking around, not taking it serious. So you know, this is the way it is with these events. I
Well,
just
you can always count
I'm
on the
just like
home run
why
derby.
even why complain about it? Get it over with. Let them have their fun, and let's get back to the game, the real games.
I mean, the
Although
question
with
is
the
though, is
NFL, it's in the season.
the question is though, is that when it say let them play the game, like what game do you want to see them? I don't care to go see NFL players playing flag football.
No, I don't want to see. I want to see him put the pads on. Look,
Yeah,
if you want to hold up on your tackles, then whatever. You know, I don't want
yeah,
to see
I'm
you guys
okay
get
if you
hurt.
want to Olay a dude and just let him run through like that. That's so be it. But I
Yeah,
also want to see somebody like Ray Lewis back in the day go knock somebody out and go give you, you know what I mean? Like, give me something because this is
well,
what you've been
nowadays the
waiting to go
backlash would
see.
be too crazy. You know how it is for everything.
Yeah, you'd
So
probably get canceled right there on the field. So,
exactly.
so yeah, I
Goodell put
mean,
you on the suspension
look,
list. Boom.
look for those watching and that catch this episode, please, or if you come back and so happy to catch it, please in the comments, what would you do differently about the Pro Bowl, or would you just absolutely eliminate it? You know, definitely let us know about that. So, look,
Yeah. Don't no one care about the Pro Bowl.
a little bit of NFL news taking place. What do we have today? Joe Flacco signed with the Browns, so he's back in Cleveland. Does that change anything for them in the draft, do you think?
Well, I don't think that they were going to take a quarterback in the first with their first pick. I think they're pretty much locked into Travis Hunter at this point. Um, but I certainly don't rule them out in the second round or even trading back in, like we were saying, at the
Yeah.
end of the first. I think a team like the Browns, whoever passes on Shador Sanders in the top of the first, definitely is going to be trying to make a move into the first, top of the second.
The question is, how far does he really slip, though? That's the question. And
I mean,
and also,
look. Let's say he does get past the Giants and the Raiders pass because they got Geno Smith now. I think the Saints would be happy to draft him.
well, here's the thing too. It's not just about who could draft him, right? Because you also know who Daddy is, and Dad is also like, I'm not just letting him go somewhere. You know what I mean? That's
Hey,
not going to happen.
look, Father Sanders played in the NFC West. Although the Falcons are no longer in the NFC West, they are in the NFC South with the Saints. So he's familiar with those teams and battles of the past.
Well,
I
I
would
mean,
not have no problem with young Sanders being on the Saints.
well, I think it also you'd have to see where Dad comes in with that, right? Because it's also what do you have? I mean, you got a young offensive-minded guy in Kellen Moore at the head, so that could be very beneficial. You know, what I mean, for Shador to go there, and again, he'd still be in the black and gold, so not far off. So we'll see how that unfolds. A little bit, some retirements. Teron Armstead retired for the Dolphins. Obviously, that hurts Tua a lot. What did I see a
I mean, he
meme
didn't
the
have
other
much
day?
left.
What did I see a meme the other day that like so it showed the protective helmets they wear now, right? So they're like, hey, we have a new helmet for
Oh yeah, I think I
Tua,
saw that.
the one with the juggernaut helmet from
I
like
think well, there was a couple different ones. I think. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. I mean,
which makes sense, but
look. I
uh,
mean, hey, we shouldn't be making a joke about the fact that if he gets one more hit, it might be done. Although I was surprised it
I
wasn't
thought
this
he should
past
have been
season.
done last year. I
That's
personally,
what I'm saying.
I thought he
That's
should
what
have
I'm
been
saying.
done, and that was and honestly, it wasn't more along like for your play or anything, for your health. Like I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
you should have really reevaluated coming back here, but
I'm sure he had some serious talks before he came back.
I, I, I mean, wife, step in here and talk to him, please. So, the other part, let me ask you this: do you think Tyreek Hill suits up in a Dolphins uniform next year?
Man, you've been looking at all that drama, huh?
Well, look, I think if I'm the Dolphins, I mean, I'm okay with trading him. And you know what's crazy? Here's what's
Look,
crazy.
with all these teams, man.
What if he goes back to Kansas City? If I'm Kansas City, look, here's the deal. If I'm Kansas City right now, right? If I'm Kansas City, I say, okay, hey, I'll tell you what, Tyreek's ready to go. Miami, I'll tell you what, here's our first round pick. Why don't you take that? You're in the first round, jump in the draft. We don't want anything for it except for Tyreek. We'll give you our first round pick. Here you go. Because here's the deal. What do you care for a first round pick if you're Kansas City right now? And you can get Tyreek Hill. And
I
you know
mean,
he
it's a
knows the
bad look,
offense.
man. It's a
He knows the
bad look. I mean,
explosion.
that guy's one bad move away from getting cut, getting suspended. He's got a spotlight on him right now, and
True. Yes, he does. However, look at the scenario though. He already got the bag in Miami, right? He's already got the ring. So now it's come back
look,
home, right? Come back home to Kansas City.
no, but I'm
Let's go
saying
win
like,
another ring.
are the Chiefs even entertained? Look, I'm not.
They
They've housed some questionable players,
I'll give
but
you
are
one
they
name they
even?
entertained. Let's see if this triggers you. Kareem Hunt. They entertained that name.
Yeah, it was years later. Years later.
This is years later.
We're talking same off season. Hey, I know we saw that. Come on over here. I don't think they'd be in the
Well,
running, but
who
but
knows?
but
You know, maybe
could Miami part ways because he did this? It's not worth the pain anymore. Sure, that's possible. I don't think they would get the same value back though that they traded for him.
I,
So
well, I think that's a perfect move for Kansas City is to just dangle that first round pick and say, "Hey, you want to get rid of this problem?
no, he's a Miami's not fetching a first round pick for this guy. Not right now.
Why? I mean,
Not
I'm
right
just
now.
saying, if I'm Kansas City, I would dangle that around.
No, if anything, it's like third or something.
Again, what does a first round pick mean to me if I'm Kansas City, if I'm picking at the end of the draft?
Look, I hear what you're saying. I just think that I don't even think they would entertain it.
I mean, because Kansas City, what are they, you know, they definitely need an O line, that's for sure, right? So that's obviously a big strong point of where they need to draft. But I would not be far off from that. That's kind of my bold move that I would do if I was the GM in Kansas City. So, but
Mm,
let me
I'm out.
let me ask you this:
What?
How do you feel about these Raiders? What are they going to do, man?
Finally, we're talking some real football here, man.
Here we go.
Finally, we're talking like some real. I was falling asleep with all this Kansas City talk, man. Jeez.
Oh, real football, he
Okay,
says.
Raider Nation. So, look, I think we're feeling rejuvenated here. I think you bring Pete Carroll in.
Old man Pete
He
still
brings
out
some
there running 5 miles
credibility.
a morning.
I think he brings credibility to the organization, to the team, to the coaching staff.
Yeah,
Right. So I'm
and
excited.
Pete's a
I'm
fun
excited.
coach too, man. He's a fun coach.
Now the thing is, I mean, look, he's in his 70s, 3-year contract. Um, I'm excited that he traded for a guy that he wants to go to war with in Geno Smith. Clearly, he's saying, "This is my guy. I'm going to go get my guy, and we're gonna do it." So I'm not saying Geno Smith's going to light the world on fire, but I am,
Had good numbers last year. He had good numbers.
his past couple years, he has some. Look, check out his accuracy. But I'm excited that Pete Carroll, saying, this is my guy to go to war with. So that's number one. Obviously, Brock Bowers taking a leap in year two. How can you not be excited about that? I think that's
Shout out to
coming.
Napa High School for Brock Bowers, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out. So yeah, year two Brock Bowers should be fantastic. The guy's a beast, all world. I mean, come on, he's setting records his rookie year. Now he's going to get a lot of attention this year, but it's a new offense, so should be fun. Should be
I mean,
fun.
a lot of love for Brock. I mean, obviously, coming from my hometown of Napa Valley, I mean, Brock looks like he's about 38, but
He does.
he's out there.
He does.
He is. I think
He's
he's
a
gonna
baller though, man.
really take over at that number one tight end slot, man. I really do.
Oh, he already has. I mean, he's the
Like
guy. Like
I,
he's the
I
guy, man. Come on,
yeah,
buddy. Come
I
on.
really
You know
think so.
this.
And
So yeah, so when I'm looking at the Raiders though, um, that the offseason, I think, like I said, a lot of potential, a lot of promise, a lot of exciting parts. But this team has some holes though. Um, they don't have a running back. They don't have a starter caliber running back. That's something I have to address. Um, Receiver, I love Jacoby Myers. I think all Raider fans love Jacoby Myers. This guy, say what you want, you can hate on him. He is very underrated, very undervalued. I mean, we're talking last year. Devonte Adams goes down, or let's call it was quits on the team. What was it, week three?
whatever,
So
whatever week the Netflix series showed it.
Jacoby Myers stepped into that number one role week three, and faced number one cornerbacks all season long, the rest of the way,
Yeah,
balled out. Not only did he have the
nothing
best,
bad to say about Jacoby Myers, man.
not only did he have the best season of his career, he did not have one drop pass. Not one.
No,
Not
he's
one.
and look who was
Shout
throwing
out
him the
Jacoby
ball.
Myers.
Yeah, no, look who was throwing him the ball on top of it, right? So I think he did everything that he possibly could. You know what I mean in regards to helping his team win last year, and I think he's going to be
Yeah.
if I think he's going to be a great asset for Gino. I
Yeah. So, but
personally,
anyways, so I'm sorry to cut you off, but they need more than Jacoby Myers at receiver. So they need a
no,
number
you
two.
do. You definitely need
Um,
another
and then
stud
also I'm
out
looking
there.
at cornerback. Look, they let a lot of a lot of talent go in free agency at the cornerback position. Say what you want about their Nate Hobbs and company, but they're solid players. So they need some quality depth there. I could easily see them, bypassing all the Ashton Genty hype and taking a cornerback in the first round.
Fastest man
Which
in the
to be
draft.
to be clear, I'm not a fan of that. To be clear, because I think you can get a good cornerback depth in the second round. But although you can say the same about running backs,
Yeah, true.
I'm just Team Gentry or Genty. Um,
Yeah, I mean he would look absolutely great in a Raider uniform. I think that would be a great fit
yeah.
for you guys.
And
I
then I
would
think
love
we
to
used
see
some
that.
help at linebacker. We lost our heart and soul of the defense. Some was saying Robert Spillane. The guy was one of the most underrated middle linebackers in the league. Um, went
Where
over
did
to
he end
New
up
England.
going? He
New
went to New
England.
England.
So look, they did bring in the young running back from Pittsburgh. Um, we'll see. I just think they need more depth there. But as far as that first round pick, like I said, I would take the all world talent of Genty. Just do it.
I think you got to.
Just do it,
I think you got
and
to.
then you can get your depth in your secondary and your linebacking corps in the second, third, fourth rounds.
Yeah, I, I got no issues with that. I think that's all pretty spot on in regards to what the needs are, and and Pete has been known to
Yeah.
find some gems late in the draft too. So
And just real quick, a couple of guys I like in the second round, cornerback, maybe Shavon Ravel out of ESU, cornerback, and then Ben Morrison out of Notre Dame, who before he went down with a hip injury,
mhm.
um, probably would have been a consensus number one pick in going into this draft. So, so yeah, man, I'm excited about the Raiders season. Can't wait. So you, Mr. Niner, we see your emblem in the background there, obviously making it very clear. What do you think's going on in Niner land?
Well, the first question is it in Brock we trust? That's God, I don't know, man. I look, it all rests on Kyle. You know what I mean? Kyle's, it's
Big
whatever
year for
Kyle
Kyle.
say
Big
goes.
year.
You know what I mean? And I think that there's chatters of Aaron Rodgers coming in. You know what I mean? And so that's why they're kind of holding off on this big contract with Brock,
Yeah.
which I understand, but I don't. I mean, look, man, I'm not ready to see. Look, I'm not trying to do somebody a favor, right? To me, that's what that is. Oh, hey, Aaron, come on through. Like, that's a favor. What a lot of Niner fans are excited about is loving to see Robert Saleh back on the field, coaching the Niners in that
Yeah, that's a good
defense.
point. That's a good point.
A lot of people think it's going to be a big hit without Dre Greenlaw. I think personally, Dre Greenlaw had his mind set up and he was ready to go before. He was ready to go before they even got an opportunity to offer him a contract. From what I understand, is they possibly were ready to offer him more money than what Denver did. I think
Mhm.
Dre Greenlaw wanted to be the dude somewhere, but obviously that's not going to happen with Warner
I would
running
like to see
around.
the Raiders sign him, by the way, but go on.
Well, that would have been a great fit, but Denver's young defense, man, I think that's
No,
that was eye opening.
of course.
And plus he got a bag on top of it. But what I'd like to see the Niners do, I mean, O line is definitely something that has to be addressed, and it's got to be addressed immediately. I think the
Yeah.
recipe you got to start looking at for success, and I'm not even just saying that because they were the Super Bowl champs, but you have to look at the recipe of what the Eagles did, right? It's a copycat league, and when you're solidified up front, you know what I mean. You're going to be able to do a lot of things, and if you can't block anybody, you can't do a damn thing. That's just football, period. So I think
Yeah.
for me personally, I would fingers crossed the whole deal. I would love to see Will Johnson come in there. I think that would be a beautiful fit. I think that is a long term dude. And even coming back in the second round, I think you'd go O line again because, look, Trent Williams is Trent Williams. But at the end of the day, Trent's on that path of, hey, dude, I'm not coming to training camp.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Are you talking Will Johnson or Will Campbell?
Will Campbell, excuse me, Will Campbell. I
Yeah,
apologize.
because that was Will Johnson, the young tight end from Michigan, who we'll see could be a Raiders pick in the first round. We'll see, but
No,
yeah,
Will Campbell. Excuse me. Yeah, the lineman out of LSU. That would be okay. That's a bold move we need. And even if you have to line him up inside, you know what I mean. I think that's okay to start him out with and then move him out. I like it.
some say he's more of a guard.
Yeah, and I'm okay with put. I think you probably would have to start him off at guard because the tackle. It's a little bit. There's a lot that goes on the outside, and I think you got to kind of keep him inside for a little bit. Put him maybe next to a Trent Williams, so where he learns, he's protected a little bit as well. I think that's a beautiful pick if they can get that. Again, you're going to have to address the wide receiver needs at some point, because I don't think it needs to be right away, but at the end, they have, Kyle's found depth really late, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, not
him
not
and
not a
John,
lot of luck in the first round, but later rounds, yes.
yeah, so I think at that point, man, go ahead and trade the damn first round pick away. You know what I mean? Because if we're going to do better, just get your ass out of there. But I think when you look at what they could do in the later rounds, and they got 11 picks of the draft, so I think they're sitting pretty there. It gives you a little bit more opportunity to be able to kind of move up if you need to. If you need to kind of just use all of your picks, which I think they will, I I think there's going to be D line that needs to be addressed. I think the O line needs to be addressed. Those are the two I would start addressing first. As far as receiver goes, look, you still got. I mean, you got dudes on the free agent market you could really address if you really needed to. You get Amari Cooper to come in, you get Lockett to come in, whatever. But if you're going to go young, then I think I like who you're talking about, Kyle Williams at Washington State. I think you can look at him even later in the draft if you needed to get a guy to come in. The kid we talked about from TCU, Beck, I believe it is.
Jack Beck.
So, I mean, you can get somebody like that to come in. Now, here's a crazy move, bold move that I heard today, which.
What's up?
And who would absolutely love a Brock Purdy? Sean McVay.
What is he's going to pull a trade for McVay after they 16?
No. I'm not saying any type of crazy trade happens. Like, you're not going to trade with your inner division rival. That's just, it's probably highly unlikely going to happen. But what I'm saying is Sean McVay gets a Brock Purdy in that system that he already pretty much understands and runs. Matt Stafford, let's be honest, he ain't got another. I don't think he's got another 5 seasons in him. Like, you got to be kidding me if you think that. So, I mean, why not? You get a Brock Purdy there, let him ride it out for a year. Or, hell, if you need to trade Matt Stafford, trade him away to the Steelers, and you roll with Brock Purdy, and he's going to fit right in with a Devontae and Puka. Yeah. So, as much as it pains me to say that, I could see something crazy like that possibly happening because.
I don't know.
Look, man, the Niners have been known to give us heartbreaks plenty of years. So if you've ever been around for the Dennis Erickson years, boy, that was standing at the top of the stadium looking down. So but again, just to address the needs, again, I think it's O-line, D-line. I think you got to start implementing again what Philly is doing. Build big up front, big build to stop that O-line, and then you'll find dudes to plug and play at your receiver and running back spot. That's never been a problem in Kyle's offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think addressing the O-line, probably their best bet in the first round. Or or if there's one of those blue chip pass rushers available, team up with Bosa. I could see him going D-line, but yeah, I agree. I understand. The trading the Brock Purdy talk, I don't think that's going to happen.
Bold prediction. But that's, again, we've seen crazy things happen in the NFL draft. I'm excited. I want to see some just absolutely crazy bold moves, pieces shuffling, shifting. That's what makes the draft fun, right? Like,
looking forward to it, man.
Don't give me 1 through 32 and everybody drafts. Give me something crazy. Give me something that, like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Wow. Like when Houston jumped back in the first round that year, right? Nobody saw that coming. That was amazing. Let me see something like that, please.
That was good.
So, speaking of, like, the NFL, man, like, just as we're starting to wind this thing down a little bit, like, what do you think your dream job would be? Like, not a player, but, like, if you were to have a dream job in the NFL, like, what do you think it would be?
Well, okay. That's a good question. Realistically, man, my first thought when you ask that, my first thought jumps to scout because I love evaluating players.
Sure.
I love talking the next big thing. But then I think dream job, well, then I want to build a team and give me the power of the GM.
Yeah.
To put the pieces together I want to put together. Now, yeah, I like evaluating the player to see, like, if this guy is going to be the one versus this other prospect over here. We love having those conversations. So that's all great, but building the team, now that's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, here's the funny thing, right? Like, immediately because of coaching football, people would think that, oh, head coach, that's exactly what you want to be. But I don't want that stress. Like, I don't want that stress. I don't want to be at the stadium at 4 a.m. If I was to entertain something like from a coaching level, I would love to be an O coordinator. Like, I think that would be so fun to be able to figure out different ways and so many pieces that you get to move around, what the defense is trying to do to you, because that aspect of it, like from when you're coaching, you know what I mean, and like being an O coordinator myself in the past, like that aspect of things, and I've even been on the defensive side too, and the defensive side of it, where it really is a lot of the times, and I mean, get me wrong, it's at the high school level, right? So, but you're still, it's like a chess game, right? Because when you've watched enough film, you're trying to figure out what he's trying to do to you. And, you know, and that's even something when I tell players, right? Like when you're taking on a block, like what is he trying to do to you? You know what I mean? So I think the chess aspect of things, of where you can kind of see what the defense is trying to do, and you get to kind of, and you got these stud athletes that you could just do absolutely crazy stuff with, is amazing. Like, I think that would be great. But in all honesty, a GM, I think, would be my deal as well. Like, I would love to put together, I think that's just the fantasy football players in us, right? Like, to be able to put together your team and see what they do on the field and see it in real time, right? And then you get to, I love the negotiation aspect of negotiating contracts, you know what I mean? And I think that would be fun for sure, because you're really just spending somebody else's money, right? So that I think is really a good spot.
You gotta be right.
You do.
That's where the fun's at. And that's where
your
the
head
fun's
will
at,
be
being proven right.
Yeah, your head will be on a pike. So, look, hey guys, that's going to do it for us. That's episode 1 in the books. You know what I mean? Got it knocked out. We've been talking about this again for years, and we're excited. We are going to bring you guys everything in regards to sports, life, that we just, being a dad, everything. So you're going to get a mixture of so much stuff on this show. Please come hang out with us again. We thank every one of you for being here.
And everyone out there, just give us a listen. We just having some fun. We're building something up, talking some sports, talking some life. Give us give us a like, give us a view.
Absolutely. So, guys, again, where you can find us at, we're going to be on YouTube, Spotify, the social channels, TikTok, Instagram. There will be some Facebook in there, but we know that's for the older folks. But Twitter as well. So you're going to find us again. And again, thank you for joining us. No Huddle, No Filter. We'll see you guys episode 2. Have a good night.
Peace out.